This beautiful pub in the city of Westminster, W2, is a bit more special than meets the eye. As you can see, it's got a wonderful triangular frontage. We've got many corner pubs in London, but this one is a little bit more special than most. Now, if we just look to my right, your left, down Lancaster Mews, we get a view of the beauty of the mews that were once used by the workers, the servants, the people that worked for the people that owned the mansions. And if we was to look down here, down Craven Terrace, we see the familiar view of Westminster's opulence. Now, the opulence and the sort of clientele that lived here would be why pubs such as this became what they did. This pub went up in the 1850s, and towards the later end of the 19th century, we saw serious social changes, especially on behalf of women. Now, this pub has something in it which I've never seen, and even Dan has never seen. Now, Dan has actually drank in more pubs than Charles Dickens' Ghost. And if Dan has not seen what we're about to see here, then I don't know anyone else that will be able to. So if you do know of women's rooms which were designed especially for women to escape the hustle and bustle, the hassle of men, then we'd be interested to see, because this is the only one we know of. Now, during the 19th century and beyond, being harassed by men actually brought your honour into question. It wasn't just a case of the women of the upper echelons wanted a bit of privacy. Their entire integrity could be brought into question simply by being around too many men at once. And that's why there were multiple necessities to creating women-only spaces. But this wasn't for anyone. The local prostitutes couldn't walk in. This was for women of means, women of the upper class. So the pub itself is beautifully decked out. It's as glorious as the most glorious gin palace I've ever seen. Though this does come down to opinion. Some people prefer others than, you know, like the Princess Louise. Someone might go in there and say that's the most gloriously decked out gin palace style pub they've ever seen. For me, the quaintness, the beautiful tiling on the wall and the floor. Remember, most of this type of tiling came from the Jack Field Tiling Company in Telford. And it's thanks to them that we have the familiar tiling that you've got in butchers and most pubs. So, but when I walk in, notice the beautiful hallway, but then we're going to quickly look at the door which says ladies only, which is what I was talking about, that we don't know exists anywhere else. You'll be able to find us pubs that had ladies only sections, but I don't know any other pub, in London at least, that actually still has it written on the door, ladies only. Come with me. And I'm telling you, if Dan's not seen one of them, then no one has in London. They lead us to believe that Charles Dickens was in every pub in the world, but if Dan's been to more than him, and if he hasn't seen it, then I don't know of one. Take a moment to admire the walls and the floor. The fantastic detail which bars around the world would love to have. They have to recreate things like this, whilst we, luckily in Britain, have them which have been preserved. Too many people will purchase buildings like this only to then gut it out or leave a bunch of clutter up against the features which should be most enjoyed by the public. Now, this particular pub is one of the pubs which is partitioned into separate rooms, which gives you that feeling of exclusivity, especially if you're from the higher classes. So if we just come down here, past the ladies' room, which is charming enough, we'll get to the billiards room. Now, billiards alone, you don't see billiards anywhere, never mind it written on glass like this. And this is very classy indeed. This one behind me, I can't actually see what that says. I think that says saloon bars. But once again, they're partitioned. So they're partitioned, so you could walk in there, there could still be 10, 20, 30 people in there, but it's your own little pub environment away from that environment, and the one across the way there. And this is a beautiful way of maintaining class whilst still being able to enjoy yourself. If you're a wealthy person in the 19th or even 20th century, early 20th century, and your wife wants to go out and enjoy themselves, you are quite concerned by it, because even if they're the most loyal woman on earth, the truth is, rumour will destroy you and your family name. So if women are being surrounded by men, they might turn them down every time and dismiss them. But the rumour that others will create from that is enough to help destroy you and possibly your family name. Now, it's dangerous enough for women to walk the streets in London, even in some of the areas we deem as safe. So I think it is important that such places were established, because it meant that women of means... Now, this is once again another discussion, what happens to the women who weren't of means? Well, I'm very unfortunate for them, but for the ones that were, they had beautiful environments such as this, and it put everyone at ease, as opposed to every time your partner left the door, your entire family name could go down the drain.